Have you ever felt warm air blowing from a vent in your house? Where does that warm air come from? Today, we're going on an adventure to find out. We'll see how your furnace knows when to turn on. We'll follow air as it gets heated and travels through your house. And we'll discover how fire warms everything up. By the end, you'll know exactly how your home stays cozy. Welcome to Goalie's PIP Academy. Let's start our adventure. Your furnace lives in a secret spot in your house. It might be hiding in the basement, or maybe it's in a closet, or even in the garage. But wherever it is, it has a very important job. Its job is to keep you warm when it's cold outside. Now, here's the cool part. Your furnace doesn't just run all the time. That would waste a lot of energy. Instead, something tells the furnace when to turn on. Can you guess what it is? It's called a thermostat. You might have seen one on the wall in your house. It looks like a small screen or a little box. Some thermostats even have buttons you can push. So, what does a thermostat do? Well, think of it like this. Imagine you have a friend whose only job is to check the temperature in your house. That's exactly what a thermostat does. But instead of a person, it's a smart little device on your wall. Inside the thermostat, there's something special that can feel the temperature. It's kind of like how your skin can feel if something is hot or cold. Now here's where it gets interesting. Someone in your family sets the thermostat to a number. Let's say they set it to 70 degrees. That means they want the house to stay at 70 degrees. So the thermostat keeps checking the temperature. Let's say it's a cold winter day and the temperature in your house drops to 68 degrees. That's colder than 70 degrees. What does the thermostat do? It sends a message. The furnace turns on and starts working. When the house gets warm enough and reaches 70 degrees again, furnace turns off. Pretty smart, right? It's like having a robot helper that makes sure you're never too cold. Now let's test what you remember so far. Quiz time. When does the thermostat tell the furnace to turn on? A. When you're hungry. B. When the house is too cold. C. When it's sunny outside. D. When you go to bed. If you said B, then well done. That's absolutely right. Yeah! Great job.
Hey, you're watching Goalie's PIP Academy, where we teach about science, geography, history, everything about the whole world. If you want to watch these classes with no ads, no distractions, go to getgoalie.com.
Now you know how the thermostat works. But wait, the furnace turns on, but how does the warm air actually get to you? This is one of the coolest parts. First, imagine all the air in your house. Right now you're breathing air, right? Well, that air is everywhere in your home. It's in every room floating around. When it gets cold, that air gets cold too. So we have cold air just sitting in all the rooms of your house. Now the furnace needs to warm up that cold air. Your house has special tunnels. We call them ducts, but you can think of them as air highways. These ducts are like big tubes that go all through your house, behind the walls and under the floors. The warm air zooms through these tunnels, going to every room in your house. Finally, the warm air comes out of vents in your rooms. When you put your hand near one of these vents when the furnace is on, you can feel that warm air blowing out. And here's something really cool. The air keeps going around and around. The warm air comes out, it floats around your room and keeps you cozy. Then, as it starts to cool down, it gets sucked back into those return vents, goes back to the furnace, gets heated up again, and comes back out. Now let's test what you remember so far. Quiz time, true or false? Cold air goes into the furnace and warm air comes out of the vents. If you said true, then well done. That's absolutely right. Yeah! Awesome! You're becoming a furnace expert. Now, let's answer the biggest question of all. How does the furnace actually make the air hot? What's happening inside that big metal box? The answer is fire. Real fire, right inside your furnace. Isn't that amazing? You have a safe, controlled fire in your house, working hard to keep you warm. But wait, you might be thinking. Let's talk about a gas furnace, because that's the most common kind. The natural gas comes into the furnace through a pipe. Inside the furnace, there are special burners. Think of them like the burners on a stove, but bigger. These flames are very hot. They can be as hot as 1,800 degrees. That's hotter than boiling water. That's even hotter than your oven when you're baking cookies. But here's the important part. The fire doesn't touch the air directly. That would be dangerous. Instead, the flames heat up a metal chamber called a heat exchanger. Think of the heat exchanger like a big metal wall that gets super hot from the fire. Remember that cold air we talked about earlier? It's traveling through the furnace right now. As it passes by the super hot heat exchanger, it warms up. It's kind of like how you can warm your hands by holding them near a hot stove, even without touching it. The cold air gets warmer and warmer as it passes by the heat exchanger. By the time it's done, it's nice and toasty. Then, a big fan called a blower pushes that warm air through the ducts and out into your house. Meanwhile, the fire creates some smoke and gases. But don't worry, those don't come into your house. They go out through a special pipe called a flue or a chimney. They go outside where they can't hurt anyone, so the fire stays safe inside the furnace, warming up your air, while all the smoke goes safely outside. Now let's test what you remember so far. Quiz time. What makes the air warm inside the furnace? A. Ice cubes. B. Fire from burning fuel. C. A big fan. D. Magic. If you said B, then well done. That's absolutely right. You did it. You answered all the quiz questions. You're officially a furnace expert now. Let's review everything we learned today on our furnace adventure. First, we learned about the thermostat. It's like a temperature detective that checks if your house is warm enough. When it gets too cold, the thermostat tells the furnace to wake up and start working. Then, we followed the air on its journey through your house. Cold air gets sucked into return vents, travels through ducts to the furnace, gets heated up, and then zooms back through different ducts to blow out of vents in your rooms. It's like a roller coaster ride for air. Finally, we discovered the secret of how the furnace makes air hot. It burns fuel to create fire. The fire heats up metal in the heat exchanger, and that hot metal warms up the air passing by. All the smoke goes safely outside, and all the warm air goes safely inside to keep you cozy. So the next time you're sitting in your warm house on a cold day, you can remember all the amazing things happening behind the walls. Your thermostat is checking the temperature. Your furnace is burning fuel and making fire. Air is zooming through tunnels all around your house. And it's all working together like a team to keep you comfortable. Pretty cool, right? Your house is like a giant machine that runs all winter long. And now you know exactly how it works. Thanks for joining us today here at PIP Academy. Stay curious and stay warm.
My mind is blown. Where can I learn more about these videos? Oh yeah, getgoalie.com. There's no ads, there's no junk, just cool stuff for kids and a dedicated tablet. Check it out, getgoalie.com.